UDART and UDART. Tanzania, Kenya lift key non-tariff trade barriers. Good evening, I am Kanki Mwaigomole. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and watch all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM presidential candidate Samia Suluhu Hassan pledges to transform Arusha into a major tourism hub by upgrading airports, building a new international terminal with a hotel, and making the Afcon City project a reality. Speaking at Sheikh Amri Abeid Kaluta Stadium in Arusha, Samia says the government's goal is to attract 8 million tourists by 2030. Here's a report by Ngarai Ole Kimosa, read by Teddy Mparanyanga.
Green and yellow flags are waving in every corner, showing support for CCM presidential candidate Samia Suluhu Hassan. After her campaign rally in Usa River, Samia arrived in Arusha City, where she promises major improvements to the region's airports.
Tumefanya maboresho kwenye kiwanja cha ndege cha Arusha.
We have made improvements at Arusha Airport, where we have invested 17 billion shillings to complete the renovations, and the airport will be completed this December. Starting January 2026, Arusha Airport will operate both day and night. It will facilitate travel for tourists, business people, and all citizens in their journeys. She pledges to strengthen Tanzania's tourism industry by spearheading the construction of the Afcon City project. Concluding her campaign in Arusha, Samia reaffirms her commitment to attracting investors who will build world-class tourist hotels in the city.
Tunakwenda kujenga ukumbi mwingine mkubwa sana.
We are going to build another very large convention center that will include a hotel and all conference facilities inside and outside the city of Arusha. But also in Ngorongoro Lengai, we're going to establish a well-developed geological heritage center for tourists who would like to explore historical, geological, and scientific attractions. Teddy Mparanyanga, TBC News.
In related news, the Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM presidential candidate for Zanzibar, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, vows to ensure the completion of various development projects, including the Manga Pwani Port, among being re-elected for a second term. Dr. Mwinyi made the pledge during his party's campaign rally in Unguja North, insisting that his party will continue to improve social services for the people, including building 29 new schools.
Mradi mkubwa kabisa unajengwa katika eneo hili Bumbwini Mangapwani.
A major project is being constructed in this area of Ibugwini Mangapwani, an integrated port project, a large modern port that will transform the economy of Zanzibar. The contractor is already on site and construction has begun. Within 2 years, we will ensure that this port is completed so that our economy grows at an even faster pace. In the next phase, we have already signed contracts for 29 new schools, and we will continue building them across all areas.
Earlier, the presidential candidate led a special prayer for the former president of the United Republic of Tanzania, the late Ali Hassan Mwinyi, who is also the father of the CCM presidential candidate for Zanzibar, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi. President Samia Suluhu Hassan has appointed Said Habib Tunda as the new Chief Executive Officer of the Dar Rapid Transport Agency, DART. Tunda replaces Dr. Athumani Kihamia, whose appointment has been revoked. A statement issued by the Director of Presidential Communication on Thursday added that President Samia has also appointed Pius Ngingo as the Managing Director of the Dar Rapid Transit Company, UDART. Ngingo replaces Waziri Kindamba, whose appointment has been revoked. According to the statement, the appointment of the two officials takes effect immediately. Tanzania and Kenya have lifted 4 out of the 14 non-tariff trade barriers that were under discussions under the 9th Joint Trade Committee meeting between the two countries. Speaking on the sidelines of the meeting in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania's Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry and Trade, Dr. Hashil Abdallah, says the barriers removed include the elimination of withholding tax on TBL beer exports to Kenya, the use of tax stamps and livestock products transportation fees from Kenya following resolutions of the East African Community Sectoral Council on Finance and Economic Affairs. He also notes that the requirement of COMESA insurance is dropped as it does not apply to Tanzania.
Mara zote Mheshimiwa Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan akikutana na Mheshimiwa Dr. William Ruto wamesisitiza.
Whenever our President, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, meets with President William Ruto, they emphasize the need for the two sectors to work together and discuss issues of integration between our two countries. We have established a technical committee to resolve trade challenges, and today we are holding the 9th meeting following the session that took place in Kisumu in 2024.
Kenya's Permanent Secretary for Trade in the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, Regina Ambam, says the agreements mark a major step towards streamlining systems and creating a favorable environment for East African businesses, while also boosting the welfare of citizens across the region. East African Community Secretary General Caroline Karugu confirms that the Joint Committee resolves 78% of the identified non-tariff barriers.
Also the global landscape that we are in. And with that thought, we have sat and actually looked at what are those barriers that are making it difficult for us to trade effectively and efficiently as two nations. And we have combed them and actually realized that by giving assurances to our population that the trade between Kenya and Tanzania is very versatile, it is efficient, and it works for the people is one key thing that we have to really stress on. And therefore, if there are any barriers that are being created that are making it difficult for people of the two nations to do business, we have to ensure by every means possible that that is stopped. As some issues were raised as NTBs that are hindering trade flows between these two nations. Those issues have been dealt with substantively, and I think what I have been informed is that there's only 10 issues that are in the process of conclusion, and therefore there's been at least a 70–80% resolution on the issues that had been tabled to the two excellencies in the year 2022. And for that, we are indeed extremely proud, and we feel happy as East Africans because the issue of trade is one that's extremely critical.
Meanwhile, the world and Tanzania mourns the death of the world-renowned primatologist Jane Goodall, who died at the age of 91. Goodall began researching free-living chimpanzees in Tanzania in 1960. In 1977, she founded the Jane Goodall Institute, which works to protect the species and supports youth projects aimed at benefiting animals and the environment. My colleague Caroline Maleo takes us through her life.
There are so many of the things that we can learn that Jane has left to us. Among them are those projects that she has started. One is the longest research, wildlife research in Gombe, of which has been there for over 60 years, 65 years, and still keep going on. And we are expecting it to continue. That's a big legacy because we have a lot to learn from these chimpanzees, how they live, their behavior, and so on, and how we can protect them. The second one can be the Roots and Shoots program, which is focusing on the Roots and Shoots young generation, inspiring them to take a positive action. As you know, the world is now full of challenges, among them is climate change, about forest destructions, and so on. And Jane has been advocating for this young generation to take action as individual, because she believes that through individual action, there will be an impact. So she has been going around inspiring this young generation in several countries to come up with the projects or ideas that address their challenges facing their communities. Their place maybe is waste, plastics, or is trees, cutting, deforestation, and so on, and see how they can address them at a local level and share with the others. That one also is a big legacy that we believe that can change the world, because what we understand is the current population we have at the moment, they don't care much about the future. They are using the natural resources without caring about what will be next. And although we are not late, but the impact we've started to see it from the climate change and so on. So by investing, by inspiring the young generation, Jane believe, and the Jane Goodall also believe, the team, that there will be a change if we invest in the young generation. So that is one of the things. Another thing that we believe that Jane has left behind for us to honor it, and we promise that although she will not be around, but we will make sure that these projects, these Roots and Shoots programs, keep growing and address all the countries. So far at the moment, we have Roots and Shoots clubs in 75 countries, and the number keeps growing. And with this sad news going around, I'm sure more kids and the young generation will be inspired to start Roots and Shoots.
That was the Executive Director of the Jane Goodall Institute in Tanzania, Frederick Kimaro, talking to my colleague Caroline Maleo. President Samia Suluhu Hassan has expressed her heartfelt condolences following the death of the renowned zoologist and researcher Dr. Jane Goodall through her social media handle accounts. The head of the state has praised Dr. Goodall as someone who pioneered work at Ngombe National Park and transformed wildlife conservation. Furthermore, she insisted the late Goodall played a major role in placing Tanzania at the heart of global efforts to protect chimpanzees and nature. In other news, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa says the government has introduced 60 new buses for the Kimara and Kivukoni rapid transit route to address the existing shortage of buses. The move will make the route to have 90 buses, which will have largely helped eliminate the transport problems that have emerged in the recent period.
After your government allowed those private companies and one company to bring in 150 buses, we decided to allocate 60 buses to operate on this road. And they have started today. All incoming buses will run on either gas or electricity. Our goal is to end the transport challenges along this road from Kivukoni to Kimara.
Subsequently, the Prime Minister has instructed Rapid Transit Public Limited Company (ODAT) and the Dar es Salaam Rapid Transit (DART) to consolidate the use of smart cards and phase out completely the use of paper tickets to control the loss of revenue.
It is not necessary for passenger to always carry cash. They will use their cards. We have already ordered that the cards be widely available, sold to citizens at a normal price so they can load money and use them for their activities. We have instructed that these cards should not only be used for buses but also in stadiums and on SGR and even in large supermarkets.
In today's segment of Beyond the Ballot, we explore the profile of Costa Kibonde, the presidential candidate under the Makini Party.
In the southern highlands of Mbeya, Tanzania, a region known for its lush green landscapes at every corner. 47 years ago in this very region, Costa Kibonde was born. Today, he is the presidential candidate of the Makini Party. His political journey began in 1995, starting with the NCCR Mageuzi Party. In 1999, following internal conflicts within NCCR Mageuzi, he decided to move to the TLP Party. By 2009, he once again shifted direction and joined the Democracia Makini Party. In 2010, Costa Kibonde was endorsed as the party's publicity secretary. And in 2015, he was appointed as the Deputy Secretary General for the mainland. In the 2025 general election, he decided to enter the presidential race, carrying with him the hopes of his Makini Party to secure leadership for the next 5 years. One of Kibonde's key policies focuses on education. He states that the government he envisions would be one of modern agriculture for the youth.
We have said that we will allocate 5 hectares to youth aged between 21 and 33. We are going to bring about a major industrial revolution and many young people will get jobs.
Health also stands among his top priorities.
We are going to build ward-level hospitals across the country, and we will also ensure that medical equipment is available. We will additionally increase the number of specialists to support these improvements, and in the end, they will save Tanzanians.
Regenerative medicine is one of the most promising frontiers in modern healthcare, offering you hope for patients by harnessing the body's own ability to heal and restore itself. But as this field grows, so does questions about safety, accessibility, and social pressures tied to appearance and self-image. My colleague Faith Angaga has interviewed Dr. Ashni Maldi, who is a specialist in that field, and she breaks down the significance of regenerative medicine, explains why safe practices must always come first, and reminds us that medical innovation should never be a reason for low self-esteem, but rather a path towards healthier and more confident lives.
Regenerative medicine explains itself. The word regenerative means regeneration, and so we can regenerate anything in your body. Regenerative medicine is actually so advanced that people are regenerating livers, kidneys. You can actually even grow teeth now from scratch. We're not that vast yet in Kenya, and of course in Tanzania as well, but we do regenerate hair, we regenerate skin, we use it for pain management, we use it for male and female regeneration and rejuvenation, which means that men and women who suffer from reproductive issues, it's used for that as well. So basically it's stem cells that are derived from your own blood, and we're just injecting them back into the area of concern. So when I say we regenerate hair, we regenerate your hair where you're balding, per se. You may or may not be a candidate, of course, but we have other options as well. So when it comes to hair regeneration, if stem cells don't work, then we do hair transplants. When it comes to the skin, we use regenerative medicine, or we use your stem cells to get rid of acne scarring, to treat burns, to treat other kinds of scars. We also use it to treat your fine lines, wrinkles. We give you that glass skin that everyone's talking about these days through the regenerative medicine.
And how different is regenerative medicine from plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery?
So everyone is either a candidate for plastic surgery or a candidate for regenerative medicine, so to say. It really depends. It depends on you as the patient. It depends on the doctor. It depends on the condition. Sometimes people don't want to go as invasive as going in for surgery.
What are the precautions, the safety precautions that one should have? Because with health, of course, even when you have malaria, if you take the wrong medicine, something may happen. So with something like this, regenerative medicine, what should someone have in mind so that they don't fall for maybe unprofessionals or something like that?
So as you said, have it in mind that you don't fall for unprofessionals, of course. Check the credibility of where you go. But the best part about regenerative medicine and functional medicine, there are no side effects at all whatsoever.
So there's this issue, even with plastic surgery that has been there for years. People say it gives especially women a sense of low self-esteem. If they have it, they feel like maybe if I get plastic surgery, I'm going to have more self-esteem. And when they get it, it's never enough. They always have it breaks their spirit, and so to say. So like what is your take on that with regenerative medicine?
I absolutely believe what you said, because we're so influenced by social media and the internet these days, and we just want to look plastic, so to say. But people don't understand what's online is so photoshopped, is so video shopped most of the time. Even if you look at celebrities in real life, they look way much more different than what you see them online. And so for me, I stick to my ethics, and definitely when I have patients come in with unrealistic expectations, I do turn them down, because I feel like not everything needs to be rectified in your body.
Following the effects of climate change on the African continent, university scholars have launched discussions aiming at sharing experiences that will help the society understand the changes and enable farmers to better organize themselves for agricultural production. The three-day discussion is taking place at Teofilo Kisanji University in Beira region, bringing together scholars from 5 universities across the country. Irene Mwakalinga has more.
The coordinator of the discussion, Pastor Mary Kategile, who is also the General Secretary of the Moravian Church in Tanzania and head of theology department at Teofilo Kisanji University, says the conference comes at a time when both Tanzania and the world are experiencing changes in rainfall patterns, as well as growing violations of gender rights in society.
It is our belief that the church has a chance to reach people at the grassroots. And therefore we feel like since scholars, biblical scholars or theologians are able to discern what the Bible says about keeping the environment and what is the responsibility of each citizen to care for the environment.
Professor Hermas Mwansoko, Vice Chancellor of Teofilo Kisanji University, together with Professor Fales Ilomo, a lecturer at the University of Iringa, emphasized that if scholars remain silent, environmental challenges will worsen, especially in Africa, where external dependence remains high.
Women, particularly in rural and marginalized settings, often suffer disproportionately due to limited access to resources, economic opportunities, and decision-making spaces.
For Africans, the life is connected or interconnected between environment and the people's life. And the Africans believe that their heaven is under the nether world.
Other scholars, including Professor Tuli Kasimoto of Teku and Reverend Dr. Ronaldo Mbao, a lecturer at Teofili Kisanja University, are also weighing in on what should be done to ensure sustained efforts in addressing the challenges facing Africa and Tanzania in particular.
We have started our program of Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies, which is specifically addressing the environmental issues and the environmental degradation.
Otherwise, if we shall be reckless in the use of the natural resources, which will affect inversely our way of living here on earth, automatically we shall be killing ourselves.
The debate is centered on the theme, the Bible changes in the character of the nation and the gender rights for social development. Irene Mwakalinga, TBC, Mbeya.
And in sports, the Tanzania volleyball national team head coach Emmanuel Asayas says the essence of selecting many young players to the national team is to strengthen the squad that will play various international competitions. Asayas adds that the association is committed to promote the game locally, which subsequently will put Tanzania on the international volleyball map.
We have something to start, technically, tactically, and also the game system. We have to work. But these tournaments give me the vision. Which place they have a luck, which place they are good, you see? So the good thing, we can keep it, and the luck, I want to give them. We want to show they are moving up, so they are coming. Everybody can observe that. So I have to give my time all in these months to assist the clubs also. I am traveling to the clubs also, watching how they are training, how the coach trained them, what's they lack, and I'm assisting them. Already I started last month to assist the clubs.
And finally, Tanzania Basketball Federation TBF Technical Commissioner Daniel Patrick urges regional teams that have qualified to participate in the National Basketball League NBL to make strong preparations for a competitive league this season. Patrick says that the league is key for teams participating to gain a chance to compete in African competitions, and therefore clubs should make early preparations.
It should be remembered that this is a continuation of the regional leagues competition. I call on teams and leaders to make sufficient preparations because the aim is to promote and advance basketball, and the representative in the African competitions will be the champion of that tournament.
Tunataka ushindani wa kutosha na hata utakapopata nafasi basi ukawakilishe nchi vizuri. Kwa hiyo timu zifanye maandalizi.
And that's all for now. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I'm Kanki Mwegomole. Good night.
TBC1, ukweli na uhakika.